Analysts and pundits are saying that Brett Veach has not done enough to address the offensive line for the Chiefs, and Mel Kiper seems to agree. Wait till you see who he picks for us. Plus, we're going to talk about Juju making it official and much more. Welcome back to All Chiefed Up. We're back with another podcast for that ass.
Before we get going, hit that like button. If you don't want to, that's fine too. I'm not your dad. You don't have to listen to me. Also, if you love the Chiefs, you want to keep up with what's going on this offseason, hit that subscribe button. Mike, let's talk about it.
You're listening to All Chiefed Up.
Steve, first and foremost, we're going to talk about Isaiah Pacheco working out in this video here. Also, Kareem Hunt was almost a Chicago Bear. Jeremy Fowler said that Chicago Bears and Ryan Poles were very interested in Kareem Hunt in the offseason. Steve, do you think Pacheco is going to be able to do enough this year to get that long-term deal in Kansas City? And if so, what's he have to accomplish?
I don't know if he'll be able to do enough to get a big contract from the Chiefs, Mike, but I think he is working hard to bounce back from last season. He had that ankle injury, and he kind of was slow getting started coming back. Kareem Hunt took the bulk of the carries going into the end of the season, and a lot of the fan base kind of shifted over to, hey, Kareem Hunt's the best back here. We should use him more. We were on that train too. No disrespect to Pop. But I think that there are a lot of other options out there. I think the Chiefs could draft for one. There's a deep running back draft class this year. They don't have to pay him a boatload of money. So he's going to have to do a lot to try to earn like a huge contract from Veach.
Yeah, when it comes to Isaiah Pacheco, I don't know what he actually has to do to get that long-term deal here in Kansas City. I don't know there's much he can do to get that long-term deal, to be honest, because I don't know if that's a position that I feel like Brett Veach wants to overpay or pay a big chunk of money, especially with having to redo contracts for Trent McDuffie, George Karlaftis, and all these other guys that he's got coming up that are a bit more higher priority, if I may say so myself. But Kareem Hunt choosing to stay with the Chiefs over going somewhere like Chicago, Steve, I feel like Brett Veach maybe had told Kareem Hunt, hey, come back here, give it another go. You're probably going to be on the roster here in 2025. Do you think they cut a deal like that, or do you think Kareem Hunt still may be replaced by a future draft pick or something else?
I think that Kareem Hunt's going to get a good workload with Kansas City this coming season. He proved himself last year. He came off the couch. He plugged and played. He fit right into the offense. It was just like he never left, Mike. It was like he never left. He was very effective. He took over a couple games. People thought he slowed down toward the end of the season because of his conditioning, or he'd just been getting a little older or whatever, but he's still a young guy. And like I said, he fits in this offense really well. And you have to remember that Kareem Hunt loved being a Chief, and he lost that opportunity before. So I don't think he's going to easily walk away from it. I think he's going to stick around here and try to get a ring.
I agree. I think if they go to the draft, I would like to see something in maybe the second or the third round. Invest something a little higher in a running back, maybe a Quinshon Judkins out of Ohio State, maybe a Cam Scadaboo if he were to fall to the end of the second. Something like that would be fun to watch. Pacheco's on his final year of a deal. Kareem Hunt's on him 1 year. Elijah Mitchell's on him 1 year. Carson still has 2 years left. He's under contract to 2026, but there's just not much there after this season. I think the Chiefs definitely have to do something this offseason going forward to make this running back room more secure. But let's move on to Juju, Steve. Juju made it official today as a member of the Chiefs on a 1-year contract. What kind of role do you think he's going to have with the Chiefs this season? Do you think it's going to be more or less than what we've seen of Juju last year?
I think it might be a slight bit more than what we saw last season, but I don't think it'll be as heavy of a load as it was 3 years ago. I don't know if he can handle that, and I don't know if he has to with Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown. He doesn't have to be that guy anymore, so I think he can slide into that role, just be the experienced veteran wide receiver in that room that can move the chains when needed, and hell, every once in a while he can go off for 100 yards in a game, and that's welcome.
I think Juju definitely can be productive in this offense, Steve. We've seen it time and time again. We've seen it last year in week 4 versus the Saints, I believe. He can do what he needs to do to move the ball. I think Mahomes trusts him to a certain degree, but he's also got a lot of injuries. That's just something Juju's going to roll with. He's not super old, but his body feels old at this point in his career. I still think the Chiefs may target one in the draft at some point. Now, I don't know if it's going to be early, round 1, 2, or 3, but I do think the Chiefs could target a wide receiver, and there's a few out there we like. If you guys haven't watched our wide receiver episode, Top 10 Rankings, go back and watch that. Steve, do you think they'll target a wide receiver in this draft?
So I've already talked a little bit about how he shaped this roster up going into the draft. That way Veach can do what he normally does, Mike, and that's kind of just take best player available. I think if there's a wide receiver at the top of their board when they get to their first pick, they will consider it. They might get a Luther Burden. They might get someone like that if they fall. Also running back were to fall to them, like a Judkins, or maybe if the stars align and a Hampton were to fall to 31, maybe they take a shot on something like that. They don't have to do any one thing. There's a lot of different positions they can fill, and I think that's how Brett Veach wants to approach the draft.
Right. Speaking of the draft, Steve, Mel Kiper's latest mock draft come out today, and Kiper took an offensive tackle at number 31 with the Chiefs, Texas left tackle Kelvin Banks Jr. Do you like that pick, or do you think Mel Kiper and all these other analysts are just going in the same way they did last year and just taking the easy out, going for the biggest need in round one?
I don't hate Kelvin Banks Jr. I think he's a pretty good tackle. He was 5th overall in production at the Combine, 4th overall in total score, 13th in athleticism. Mike, his arms are a little short, and he has trouble with guys on the outside edge, especially ones with speed, because he labors to keep up with the edges getting compressed and things like that. So I don't know if that's a great pick to take in the first round. I kind of think that a lot of people outside of Chiefs Kingdom and even a lot of people in Chiefs Kingdom kind of have them pigeonholed on a left tackle because of what happened in the Super Bowl, but them addressing it in free agency with Jalen Moore, I think that frees them up just a little bit to where they don't have to go out and blow their load in the first round on a left tackle.
I really like Kelvin Banks. I just don't know if he's a tackle. I could see him sliding in at guard. He's got sub 34-inch arms. That's a problem. I also think he's not very thick in his lower body. He doesn't have that big lower base that you want to see from a left tackle. Speaking of what he does well, he's got really good footwork. He's got really good slide technique. I think there's a lot to like about Kelvin Banks. I just don't know if he's going to be a left tackle in this league. And I don't know if the Chiefs need to keep taking shots at left tackle. They've now done it in free agency. They did it last year with the round 2 pick with Kingsley Suamataia. They've done it a few years ago with Wanye Morris. I think if you're going to take a pick this high, it doesn't need to be a project anymore, Steve. We need to find somebody. And I think they really like what Jalen Moore offers. They give the guy $30 million. I think they're going to let him try to play this position, and he's young enough that if he actually works out, they could sign him up long-term, and he could be here for a good chunk of the rest of Mahomes' career.
Yeah, if they want to roll with Jalen Moore, I'm great with that. If they want to invest more in the tackle position in the draft, I'm also great with that. I don't know if they should spend that pick that early in the draft, especially if they're going to go after a tweener like Kelvin Banks Jr. He reminds me a lot of Peter Skoronski from a couple drafts ago, where he just had those little tiny arms, kind of thought he's just going to be a guard. I don't think they should do that. I'm with you. If you're going to invest at the position, make sure it's someone is built for that position and will play that position.
If you want to hear more about our offensive tackle rankings, that's going to be going down next Tuesday morning, as we've switched our morning lives to members only. So it starts at $4.99. Get over there, become a member of the ACU crew, and check out those morning lives. Oh yeah, right off the rip, I'm getting that leather and tobacco vibe and that bourbon vanilla. This stuff right here, straight fire, baby. You work hard, you play hard, and we know Chiefs Kingdom cheers hard. And when you do that, it's obvious you work up a little stank. I mean, come on, we're stinky humans who survive on barbecue and Patrick Mahomes highlights. But you don't always want to be at musty level 10. We don't. We're trying to smell nice. And for us, it's this right here, Mando, baby. You wake up, you shower, you start your day, but eventually you start to get a little, ripe. You catch a whiff and you just pray nobody else is offended by your stank bubble. You don't have to walk around smelling like Bigfoot's. Grab yourself some Mando full body deodorant or some Mando whole body deodorant spray. They even have whole body deodorant cream. You have no reason to stink. We absolutely love Mando, and that's why we partnered with them to bring their goodness to you. Look, we're super big into fragrances and colognes, and this stuff smells fantastic. This is bourbon leather, and it smells incredible. There's so many reasons to love it. It's safe to use for your pits, to your balls, to your big old disgusting filthy feet. It was created by an actual doctor who wanted to stop the misdiagnosis and mistreatment of odors. Mando is clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. And no, that doesn't mean you can be a degenerate piece of and not shower for real. It helps with odor. It doesn't perform miracles. There's 4 scents. This bourbon leather here is fantastic. They also have Clover Woods, Mount Fuji, and Pro Sports Scent. So do you want to try America's #1 whole body deodorant formula? Of course you do. You can find them at Walmart, Target, and other retailers across the country. But for the best deals, go to shopmando.com. You can pick up a Mando starter pack. It's absolutely perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like a mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and you get free shipping. Free shipping is huge. I've been known not to order $100 worth of stuff because I didn't want to pay $10 for shipping. But this is what I want to offer to the ACU crew because you guys are special. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% of your starter pack when using our code ACU to shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. And if you don't love it, they'll give you a full refund up to 60 days later. That's how confident Mando is that your balls won't stink. Go to shopmando.com and use code ACU to get 40% and free shipping off your Mando starter pack. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence head to toe with Mando. Steve, Colin Cowherd said that the Chiefs are going to regress this season, and it's because he said our offensive line did not do enough to protect Patrick Mahomes, and we didn't get any better.
Right now, the Chiefs' O-line is bad. It's a bad O-line. You can't lose Joe Thuney and go, hey, I feel great. Trey Smith, now Trey got the bag. Watch out. Left tackle, no big game experience. Watch out. I'm just saying. Little thin-skinned on last year I called the Cowboys and Niners to regress. This year the Chiefs are going to regress. I think I'm on to something.
He actually picks the Chiefs at number 8 in the NFL, and he pretty much blames the offensive line. Does he have a valid argument here?
They do this shit every year, Michael. Every year they think the Chiefs are going to regress and the Chargers are going to win the AFC West. They never are going to freaking learn. This Chiefs team is fine. Yes, they had a problem with left tackle last season. They're trying to address it the best they can. You can't just make a left tackle fall out of a tree. You're not just going to get someone to trade you their elite left tackle. So it's going to take some time, but I think Brett Veach has been trying to invest in that. And if you look at the rest of the offensive line, I'm getting a little excited here. But if you look at the rest of the offensive line, the Chiefs' offensive line has been solid as hell. They've had the best interior offensive line in football for the last 4 years. Jawan Taylor is not a pushover at right tackle. He might get some penalties from time to time and piss some people off, but I mean, he's a great right tackle. Maybe not worth $80 million, but he's a great right tackle. I think the Chiefs' offensive line is great. They've got to figure something out with the left tackle, but I don't think it's enough to say the Chiefs are going to regress all the way to 8th in the league and not win the West.
Look, I get where he's coming from a little bit. Jalen Moore is kind of an unknown at the left tackle position, and again, this is another season of a stopgap left tackle protecting the best quarterback in football, right? So it gets a little old, but like you said, nobody's out here trading their left tackle unless it's Laramie Tunsil. Come on. I don't know how that happened. But by the way, the Chiefs have also traded Joe Thuney. So the whole left side of this line is going to look a lot different. They are going to probably overpay for Trey Smith. They're probably going to have to. They still got Creed Anchor in the middle. Like you said, Jawan Taylor on the right side. He's above average. He does have drive-killing penalties and this and that, but he is serviceable, and he played really well at the beginning of last season, and he played well towards the end of last season. He had a few games in the middle where he struggled a little bit. But I think Cowherd has a little bit of a point. The offensive line maybe isn't there all together, put together perfectly right now. But I do think you have to give it time to develop, see what the draft offers, see what kind of development that they can get out of their offensive line with players like Suamataia, possibly even Norzad, CJ Hansen, all those guys down the board, Ethan Driscoll even. You got to see what they can do. Let's hope that they come on. Let's hope Jalen Moore gets it together. But I do understand Cowherd's reserve, I guess, about the Chiefs. But I do think if it's April, if it's the end of March, there's two things that you know is happening, Steve. You're doing your taxes, and you're listening to sports analysts tell you that the Chiefs have dropped off a cliff yet again. And surprise, surprise, it's not going to happen.
And this is where we pass it off to you, Chiefs Kingdom. Get down in those comments. Let us know what you think about Colin Cowherd being a slapnut. Also, let us know if you think Jalen Moore is going to do okay over there at left tackle, or should they draft a Kelvin Banks Jr. like Mel Kiper says.
That's all for today. Thanks for liking, subscribing, and sharing this with a friend. We'll catch you next time. Go Chiefs.